this is awesome. I have to put on my real estate agent cap today. Welcome, everybody. I think I have to put my cap on. I did some notes. This is, welcome, episode number 24 of The Tasty Twist with Sammy B. I am your host, Sammy Blanchett, local musician, producer of this show. We're here at Okemo Valley TV once again. Thank you, Peter, Rebecca, Patrick. And don't forget, as always, for all episodes and things me, you can find me on sammybmusic.com or check out the released episodes, okemovalley.tv. They do also have a YouTube channel and a mobile app. More on that at the end of the episode. I really feel like we've already done a full episode so far. Gail Beardmore, of Engel Völkers Okemo, head honcho, broker, real estate agent, owner. In the pregame, we definitely felt like we talked like a whole episode and everything. But we'll start with the basics. You from New Hampshire originally?
I am. How did you even know that?
Facebook.
That's cool.
Facebook,
okay.
Believe it or not. I got that from Facebook. Yes.
Yeah.
So Lebanon, to be exact, right?
Yes.
If I remember, I really did my homework.
You did your homework.
That's
Sammy.
good. Yeah, that's good.
Lebanon, New Hampshire, still have family there.
Still have family there? Yeah. How long did you live out there?
Well, my whole life until I moved here. Which would have been 1990.
1990. Oh my gosh.
I moved here in 1990.
What month of 1990?
November. Yeah.
Okay, so I was 1+. And my grandparents bought the condo that is now mine on the mountain that I live in March of 1990.
Oh, wow.
So when people say, hey, have you lived here your whole life? I'm like, no, but I've been a weekend warrior for many years from Connecticut, the Merritt Parkway, 91,
sure,
the whole strip.
Sure.
Got bored after that at like mid-20s. So anyways, that's cool. So 1990, but that's a, good chunk of time out in New Hampshire. So do you find a difference culturally, lifestyle-wise between Vermont and New Hampshire that stands out to you after all these years?
Culturally, the only thing I can think of is the lack of billboards. In Vermont, right? Everyone notices that.
Is it true it's one of only 2 states still in the U.S.? No billboards?
I don't know that. That's a really good question.
Yeah,
Sammy. I don't know the answer to that.
And I might be asking that question because I sort of stumbled a little bit on that information maybe years ago. But I like it also as well, too, about Vermont.
Yeah, that is the one thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Now, they're not fully exempt from billboards, I don't think. They've got the ones where the businesses here on the left, 1 mile, 5/10. So there are those billboards.
Right,
so.
but those are, I believe those are state signs. Mm-hmm. Those are state signs. They're not like in New Hampshire.
Yeah. So have you done a real estate agent your whole life? Or?
Well, 1995.
1995, okay.
So when I came here in 90, we bought the Belmont General Store, which
did you really?
May or may not know of.
Oh, I actually did not know that. Yeah, that's cool.
So for 10 years, owned and operated the Belmont General Store. And then it burned, if anyone remembers that.
I also did not.
Yeah, it burned, and we rebuilt it, the interior. And it was soon after that I got my real estate license and was doing both. Everyone in Vermont.
So you built it back into a general store.
Oh, yeah.
Again. You built it, right.
Just put it back together.
Right.
And everyone in Vermont has multiple jobs.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So
myself included.
Yeah. So I was in the store.
Yeah.
I was teaching, or actually working at the desk at Skiwi. They used to call it Skiwi.
Yeah. I was class of 93.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. My dad has VCR footage from the big cameras that you used to put on your shoulders. Yeah.
Sure.
And the funny story about that, I didn't mean to hijack the story really quickly, but anyways, I remember he and my grandfather showed me footage years ago on the VCR tape of me not paying attention to the lesson. And, back over in Skiwi, Snow Stars now, they used to be Palmolifts. So I remember in that footage, I should really dig that up someday. That'd be funny to dig up. But I was just looking for my dad because he had the camera. I didn't care about the lesson. And my dad's just like, no, over there, buddy. Pay attention to your dad. Go. Yeah. It's like my black lab, Denver. He's got separation anxiety. So Erica and I calls him a follow. He's like, Denver, you're being a follow right now. You're following us everywhere you go. It's so cute, though.
They do.
Yeah. By the way, as mentioned, wearing red buffalo plaid for your golden retriever, Hannah.
Yes, Hannah is our girl. She's 4 years old, and the sweetest thing. So we had this idea that we wanted to help bring the Ludlow Dog Park back to life
after the flooding.
We got involved before the flood, and we were just going to do fundraising for accessories there, like benches for people to sit on and agility stuff for the dogs. And then the flood happened, so that shifted. And now everyone may or may not know that it is located up on West Hill.
Are you guys fully still involved with different behind-the-scenes things with bringing it back together?
What we're doing is continuing to raise funds. And there is a dog park committee.
Is there?
Yeah.
I should join that.
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
And they're going to do a bunch of signage now.
Yeah.
So that it can really be directing people up to the mountain and where they are.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Getting back to talking about when you became a real estate agent, along with the Belmont store, the fire, the rebuilding, and everything.
Yeah.
Did it take long to get your real estate license? Was it a stressful process balancing it all?
Let me think. This was a really long time ago, Sammy. No.
Almost 30 years ago.
I was never a good tester, so I was very nervous about that.
Yeah.
Because you go, today it's not done the same way.
Yeah.
You had to drive to, I don't know, Barrie or Montpelier.
Yeah.
And it felt like being back in high school, and you were taking the test and put your pencils down and pick up your pencils and that whole thing.
Now, why up there? Is it just because it's connected to the capital of the state, or
it's not like this now. Everything's online, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
But back then, they really just didn't have people to administer the tests.
Right.
And they would just have specific dates where you could go there.
And everything was pen and paper, obviously.
Oh gosh, I feel like such an antique now.
I know, because everything...
But it wasn't... then I got the real estate license, and I went to work for Larry Kelly. I don't know if anybody remembers Larry Kelly, but...
Is it Kelly Real Estate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that still exists, though, right? Kelly Real Estate still exists, right? Yeah.
Yep. Larry passed away, but he's the one. He used to come in the store every day. And he said, Gail, you should get your real estate license. And so I did. And that's kind of how that happened. And then I went to work for him.
Back in those days, did it take a couple of years of testing and internship to really get in a groove before working?
No.
Because I wonder, with trades, for example, like being an electrician or being a plumber.
Yes.
You got to do all this years of studying. And again, it might be a lot of online classes now, possibly. But then you got to go out and you got to work for somebody as an internship for a while. Did that take a while back then?
So the way that real estate works in that way is you can't get your broker's license until you have gone through X number of transactions and have worked for someone else for X amount of time.
Right.
So then you can go and take your broker's test.
Gotcha.
And what the difference is a broker can be on their own. They can open an agency. They can do all that. Whereas prior to that, you are just an agent. You work for and are responsible with a broker.
Gotcha. Yeah. Have you seen? Obviously, COVID was a major time for the housing market in general, and I'm sure around here, the flooding had to have affected business to some degree also too. But in your 30-something years with real estate experience, how drastic has it been up and down as far as primary residents, and also obviously like the out-of-state traffic, the tourism, and the shift with the rental companies like Vacasa and Airbnb, tricky subject that we obviously don't have to get too far down in the rabbit hole, but just in general, how has the up and down shifts of the market been in 30 years in Vermont?
We had, I was kind of naive when I got into all of this, and you just assume things are going to continue to go as they always have, and you basically
That's a life philosophy, by the way,
it
too.
is.
Yeah.
You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and if it goes down, well, you're still going one foot in front of the other. So it had some downs, and then of course there was 2008.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh,
Which
the first time that gas prices went up to what, $7-8 in some areas?
I forget now. Maybe I blocked it.
We're just gonna forget that ever happened. Yeah,
but
it's only $3 now.
That was
just
the
from,
same.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
Pretty
right.
Good. I think I saw $2.99 in New Hampshire, by the way.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So I think 2008 was, of course, the year I decided to buy a franchise and go out on my own.
What was the franchise?
The franchise is Engel Völkers.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
I mean, that's a great.
So we're so involved with Okemo in the community. My head just went to, maybe because I'm still hungry, the Waffle Cabin. Sorry.
Okay.
They're delicious. That's a franchise.
Oh, it is.
So I thought hey, yes.
No,
I thought maybe, hey, did you buy one of those?
No, no. In 2008, I purchased two territories of Engel Völkers because it's all territory based.
Sure.
So
do you still have the other one, or is it
Woodstock,
just the one?
I still own Woodstock and Ludlow.
Okay.
I started in Woodstock. My office was in Woodstock. I was right on Mechanic Street in Woodstock until 2013. And this building became available, so I came over here because this is really where I wanted to be.
Sure. Yeah.
So I kind of consolidated.
A lot closer of a commute also, too, obviously. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And so you've lived in Belmont since 1990, right?
I have.
Right.
Never left.
I guess, for the audience that doesn't know you or your husband's background, tell us a little bit about Rob's background also as well, too.
Well,
there's a lot involved there, too, right? Yeah.
Robert Beardmore is my husband. And like I said, we only met in 2013.
Yep.
So he owned Master Plumbing and Heating and was working as much as I was. You know, we were both workaholics. Which
Still are.
out.
You guys haven't really slowed down.
Well, he sold Master Plumbing and Heating.
Recently, right? Last year?
A year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
Just over. And so now he's doing Beardmore Excavating 100% of the time.
Right. But he did both at the same time.
Yeah, he did both. And
it's a lot of bookkeeping. That's a lot of bookkeeping. A lot of hours, a lot of bookkeeping.
He's very good at that. He's very, very good at that bookkeeping part of it. So he does what he loves, which is the excavating now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. A lot of employees to both businesses, or just a few?
He had a lot of employees.
Right.
Although I believe they've doubled in size since he sold it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Do they still use the same trucks that they always had?
I think a lot of them are new.
Right.
A lot of them are new, but they're still red.
He held on to the original one, right?
Nope.
No, he got...
No.
I always knew when he was driving around in town.
I know.
Much like, perfect segue, your Evo Okemo car that we were talking about.
Yeah. So
Which is not an electric car for EV.
It's not. My license plate says EV Okemo. And many people think that means it is electric. And they usually catch me at the gas pump and say, wait a minute, what are you doing? So it really stands for Engel Völkers Okemo. And it's a cool license plate, and it's a fun car to drive.
How many miles have you put on it so far?
Well, let's say it's a 2021. I bought it for myself for my birthday.
It's good to look out for yourself, you know?
When I turned, how old was I? I was
25.
Yeah.
Right.
I bought it for myself for my birthday, and it was 2021, and I think I've only got 17,000 miles on it because I put it up in the winter.
Do you, so it's solely, I mean, you bought it for yourself, but it's solely a business car, right? Like business company car model?
Yeah.
Ish?
Yeah. I like it. I just
right off at the very least,
yes,
right?
At the very least.
At the very least.
The very least. Right.
As long as the prices don't go back up to $8 like 2008.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, this is like part of my notes on the chicken scratch or whatever, but yeah, COVID-19, not a good time for anybody, right? But challenging for everybody. But in a sense, up here in Vermont, all of a sudden there was like a little bit of like a boom, right, in real estate as far as like people's interest.
I would say that was unprecedented, and we won't see that again. But
Yeah.
it also happened around the time of 9/11.
Yeah.
A similar thing happened.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to escape to Vermont. It feels safe here. You know, and
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it's safe here. I'm really
Yeah.
glad I'm here right
Yeah.
now, as a matter of fact.
I was still young enough. I was 12 when 9/11 happened. But I always like tell people, and being 12, I didn't really obviously know much about like Vermont's landscape other than like, skiing and stuff. But that's fascinating that you bring that up. So many wild things have like happened in the world. Mainly, I look at sort of the positive with technology. Since 9/11, that was really like the start of MySpace, Facebook, smartphones.
It was, wasn't it? I hadn't
Wild,
thought of
right?
that.
Yeah, crazy.
thought of that.
And another interesting concept about COVID-19, the work from home thing took off. Because obviously, you had a couple months where we were home, staring at the walls. I learned about Facebook Live, playing music at home. But now working from home has been kind of a killer concept for a lot of people, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Well, we did it. Everybody had to do it in the
Right.
beginning. And then this is the funniest story, which I think this is about, right? So at that time of COVID, when it all came down, my husband and I were living in our off-grid cabin, building our house. And so I didn't have good internet. And so he made me an office in his barn where the internet was better. And so we would do...
A little bit more of a pulse.
My office would do office meetings, Zoom office meetings.
Yeah.
I had to learn about that.
Yeah.
None of us knew anything about that.
Yeah. Right?
So we would have...
Ain't nothing like
meetings.
learning on the fly, right, Gail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would have Zoom meetings, and everybody was in their own space, and I was in the barn.
Yeah.
And it was
All
it was
they're
an
showing
odd
is your
time.
face. All they're showing is your face to your
Yeah.
chest. So you don't know if they're wearing pants,
No.
pajamas. Like,
I think they were mostly pajamas.
yeah, right.
Yeah, but we became essential workers. I don't know if you remember this.
Yes,
But
yeah.
there were
I remember the term, not
designations.
necessarily the meaning
Yeah, who
behind
got it,
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Who
So
qualifies
both
for
of
that?
us-
Yeah.
Both of us, Robert was essential.
Yep.
Plumbing and heating,
Oh, yeah.
emergency stuff. You had to be. So he never stopped working.
Right.
We stopped working for a very short time, and then they declared us
Right.
essential workers. So we were out there. We just had protocols.
Yeah.
Protocols.
That was such a bizarre couple of days leading up to March 17th because I was, and I know you mentioned that you don't downhill ski anymore.
I don't.
But bummer. But, well, like out in the woods, right? Snowmobile.
I'm in the
Yeah,
woods. I'm in the
that's all right. It's too people-y now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in a good way. We need them, like we said, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, those like 3 days. I was still working like retail on Okemo. And I just remember, I think it was Saturday afternoon, the 14th, and they had said, all right, so this is definitely a worldwide emergency. We tried operating for like a full day, sandwich billboards and like having people distance. This ain't working. And then Vail Resorts made the announcement to shut everything down. It was just so weird. And then I remember on the Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day, even Killarney's, our little local Irish bar, everybody was there for a couple last beers and some corned beef and cabbage, and they shut everything down at 2 o'clock.
Wow.
It was just bizarre.
Yeah.
And then I think we're out of the weirdness a little bit. Not really, but I think we're out of most of the weirdness 4+ years later, but really crazy times.
Very crazy times.
Very
You're
crazy
right.
times.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And I hope to the grace of God that we do not go back to that like ever again.
I don't think we will.
Yeah.
I don't think we will.
I think the challenging thing about it was that ultimately it seemed like it was a balance between science, evolving, viruses, like how they always like project in time, and balancing things economically. And I think no matter what, it's kind of just here to stay. And I think we just have to adapt.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be.
Well, and that's who we are. We adapt, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Much like you said, coming from New Hampshire to Vermont, and then like, hey, I got this.
I got this. So what if we don't have billboards? I can handle it.
Yeah. You guys, tell a little bit about the just importance of local community and everybody being involved.
Yeah.
From real estate to musicians to local media, television studios, just how important in Vermont that is.
Yeah.
It kind of states the obvious, you know?
I think it's more important than ever.
Yeah.
And what brought it home to me was during the flood.
Yeah.
We moved.
Excellent point.
I was the am I? No, I'm not the president anymore. I had to stop and think.
Head honcho?
I was the president of the Chamber of Commerce
Oh, really?
during that
Oh,
time.
okay.
So
Before Carol?
No, Carol is the executive director.
Oh, executive director. Shout out to Carol, by the way.
Yeah,
Hi,
shout
Carol.
out to Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Whitehall.
Works so hard. Another workaholic. Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
she
yeah.
and I have
We love Carol.
become. We did a thing here, actually, Carol and I.
Oh, did
we
you?
were
Yeah.
updating people on what was going on with the
Right.
flood. And so I moved, the chamber got flooded. I moved the chamber office into my office. And then I moved.
Oh, yeah, because they had to.
FEMA came.
Because they had to clean out that area, right? They had to.
Well, it was completely flooded.
Yeah.
The chamber office was under mud, that deep.
I can't believe they were able, just again, hijacking, but related to the story, how the town was able to save parts of what's now Little Mexico as far as like the front and back.
I know, because that's
my
a direct
God.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just gnarly. I remember one of my Okemo coworkers that the morning of all this was going on, he had no idea like how bad the flooding actually was, and he thought he was going to work. And I'm like walking over towards the loft. I was helping them out with like flooding relief and everything, and getting all their like stuff like down out of below and everything. And I'm like, hey, where are you going? And he's like, oh, I'm going to work. I'm like, you have any idea what's going on? And then I'm like, no. I'm like, let me hop in the car. Let's go down the road and see it. Like, oh, I have no idea. And then he sees the mudslide that happened with the train tracks going down off the road. And he's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you're not going to work today, man. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Nowhere.
But no, excellent point how, and yes, I'm grateful and thankful I was able to lend a helping hand during these times.
Yeah,
also
you
too.
did a lot,
The
too.
community did wonders. You're absolutely right. That was so eminent with the
That
flood.
was very uplifting in a way. And, we opened up our whole upstairs of our building at the SBA. And so people who were trying to get loans or grants from the SBA, they were constantly coming in and meeting with the folks that set up upstairs, and then we had a FEMA representative at the office, and so you
got a lot of you got a lot of like news channel interviews or like coverage, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Yeah.
Out front. Yep.
That was wild also too, because I got contacted by 12 to 15 different news organizations myself because they saw a TikTok video of the access road with the flooding and everything that I posted. And talk about hitting the algorithm. We were talking about that before the podcast. Just when that hits on like the right side, all of a sudden, like everybody kind of picks up on it.
Sure.
And meanwhile, I was just trying to be helpful in the moment. And I'm like, okay, I got to answer that message. I got to get back to that person. It's just wild.
It was an intense time. It really was. It was remarkable how the town came together, and they did.
Yeah,
they
absolutely. But we've got a lot of great new local businesses in our town now, and I'm thinking primarily to tie in the title, the Tasty Twist, restaurants and stuff. But Blue Duck Deli, New England Cider Donut, the Eatery. Shout out to the Eatery. We got a bunch of goodies beforehand this morning.
Yeah, I think
that Gail's going to enjoy.
Take those with me.
Yeah, apple cider whoopie pie. Apple cider whoopie pie, and they're known for their cruffins. So, anyway, shout out to Michelle and John. Check them out. But yes, there's been a lot of change over the years, recently, especially COVID and the flooding and everything.
Yeah.
But I think that the future is still very bright for our businesses around here. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I agree. You know, you can't take what you hear on national news and
Or the internet.
and apply it across the board to here. We are our own microcosm, if you will, of a market, and we're a little bit protected. We tend to be very late to follow trends here, and our trends and
We're getting there, though.
high and our low are not as high or as low.
Yeah.
We tend to just do this.
Right.
Right?
It's like sand waves out in the desert,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember those Bugs Bunny Yosemite Sam cartoons where they're stuck out in the middle of there, and Yosemite Sam hits the camel because he's trying to chase the rabbit. He's like, "When I say giddy up, I mean giddy up." And then the camel goes too fast. Whoa, camel! Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Well,
camel!
it's a little bit like that.
But it reminds me of the desert.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my brain
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Coffee,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so yes, trends, but no, that's a good point. There's something that just really feels like home here about Ludlow, Vermont. I don't know if it's the fact that there's this giant, gorgeous mountain of 122 trails and 20 lifts after all these years since 1956.
Was it 56?
Bruce Schmidt, I believe I got that right. Shout out to Bruce. I believe I got that right. 1956,
Oh,
January.
I wasn't sure.
January
Okay.
31st, 1956. It's just you come over the Proctorsville Gully, and then there it is, past the old Neil's restaurant and Grafton Village Cheese. Shout out to them also too. It just smacks you right in the face.
Yeah.
And then there's just this beautiful village. And sometimes you go to a lot of other different ski resorts in Vermont or New Hampshire, and it takes you forever to get into a village. It takes you like 5 miles,
This is
10
unique.
miles.
Yeah.
Ludlow's right there
Yeah.
at the clock tower, half a mile like right in town.
Right.
It's right there. And there's something to be said of having your playground and then businesses just all right next to each other.
Yeah.
It feels
is.
great still after all these years.
It does.
You know?
It does. And it's a very good, I think it's a good relationship. I think everybody was nervous if the relationship would continue after the Mullers left. But, we were working our way through it. And I think the relationship is still there, mostly due to people like Bruce Schmidt.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. And I'm so thrilled as a worker for the mountain that he is still our leader, and just he's an absolute man of the people. I love Bruce. Him and his whole family. Shout out to Noah Schmidt, by the way, former board president or board of director, one of his titles here for 8 years. Shout out to Noah. He got married this weekend.
Heard that. Congratulations.
We're going to
Noah.
try to get Noah and Abby on here for an unofficial Okemo episode.
Good.
So
Good.
yeah, that really took off for them too. Anyways, tell us a little bit about your recent events that you had. The Chester Festival on the Green, the Stuart Maple Taps the Table. How much fun those were.
We, I want to say it's been 4 years now. I think it has been 4 years. We have
Taps the
committed.
Table?
Well, yeah, Tap to Table, but also Okemo Valley Festival is the first one of each year. And
The Best of Vermont?
Best of Vermont.
Best of Vermont. Oh, wait, that's
Best
right.
of
Yeah,
Vermont
yeah.
Festival.
That's right.
That's in August.
Yep.
And then from there, we go to the Chester Festival. And then we go to Tap to Table. And then I still have one more with Hannah. We're going to Fall into Winter.
Orf.
Yeah.
Orf.
Fall into Winter, she's going to be there.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's coming up.
This weekend.
Yes. And that is, I should know as an employee, that is Sunday, right? The 13th?
It is Sunday. It is Sunday.
And it's 10 to 4. Are you guys going to be there the whole day or
I
whatever?
think it's 10 to 4. I honestly don't know, but I think it is 10 to 4. And yes, we'll be there all day giving out kisses.
Yeah. And selfies and all that good
selfies.
stuff.
Take pictures with Hannah.
It's got to be great representing a real estate business at these events because it gets folks coming to the area or folks that have been here for a long time to know a little bit more about your studio or what you guys do, what you represent. And it's got to be fun for you, something different. You're going out like right in front of people at fun festivals, right?
Well, this is not normal for real estate people to do.
Yeah.
And we've all realized that it's more about meeting people and talking to people. It isn't about, here, I have a house to sell you. It's not that at all. It's about connecting with
Community
people.
and
community
engagement.
and they ask questions.
Right.
We love to answer questions about whether it's real estate or just the area.
Yeah.
We love to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about the day-to-day existence, I guess you would say, as a real estate agent. As far as you're always on the phone 24/7, I would imagine, between people that are trying to buy a house, people that are trying to put their house up on the market, real estate attorneys, real estate lawyers, plumbers, electricians. Is it overwhelming, or do you get into a groove or just get used to it after a while? Or is it depends on who your customers are?
All of that is all true. Days can be overwhelming. Other days can be exhilarating, quite honestly. And if you've been doing this a long time, you obviously get a rush from real estate,
Yeah.
or you wouldn't continue to do it, because there's a lot to it, a lot of regulations, a lot of changes.
What's an average time frame of a day that you would say you do, like 8, 12 hours,
Oh,
16,
probably
16?
Probably 12.
12?
I'm not going to
Yeah.
grab on to 16
Yeah.
yet, although there are days, sure,
Yeah.
especially during COVID, by the way.
I'm sure, yeah.
Right?
Because all of a sudden that was firing on all cylinders.
It was insane. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
How connected are you guys with your, I guess I would say, healthy competitors, I would say, between Mary Davis, William Rivas, Diamond Realty. You guys all kind of connect with each other,
We are
right?
all
Yeah.
friends. So
Yeah.
it's really
That's great. That's great to hear.
interesting
Yeah.
thing here. I don't think I would want to do real estate anywhere else, because I feel like it's very competitive in other markets, and even in a negative way.
Right.
So here, we don't look at each other that way. We look at each other as colleagues.
That's so great to hear.
It really,
That's so
we
great to
do,
hear.
because a shout out to William Rivas. They're doing the coat drive.
Yeah,
we'll
I saw
bring
that.
Coats.
Yeah,
We'll bring
yeah.
coats. We all want to lift each other up, and
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah, I think that, again, all ties into things being all relative with the mountain and the community.
Exactly.
That's fantastic
It's the same
to
thing.
hear.
It doesn't, so it really does no good to try to beat someone out. It isn't about that.
Right.
It's about everyone being successful. And we all are,
Right.
in our own way.
Right.
In our own way.
And with how successful this podcast has worked for me so far, which I'm very grateful for. Again, shout out to the team here at Okemo Valley
Yeah.
TV for just helping get this media station more involved, getting more viewership, more underwriting opportunities and everything. It's been so great to not only with this podcast, but in my 6 years being up here from Connecticut now full time, just connecting with so many different musicians and so many different restaurant owners and industry workers. We're all part of the same team, don't you
Right.
think? Trying to
Yes.
make this whole thing
Absolutely.
connect. And that's why a podcast like this, my envision and goal has been to raise awareness about this to the general public and say, hey, most of the time, unless we really don't like an individual for
Right.
whatever reasons, we're all out there as a team helping each other out. And
Exactly.
it's a wonderful feeling. And it doesn't have to necessarily be just here in Okemo and Ludlow. It could be anywhere in the country or the world, human beings
Yeah.
working together.
Yeah.
It really feels good,
So, you mentioned that, and we're in this micro area here in
Yeah.
Okemo,
Yeah.
but our company is worldwide, and we work with, on a daily basis, advisors from California, Seattle, Florida. I've done a transaction out of Paris once.
Is that right?
Because
Whoa.
of this brand that I purchased back in 2008.
Yeah.
We have this global connection. The CEO of the company was just here in Ludlow to visit my shop.
And he's based out of where?
New York City.
New York City.
Yeah. And he just came because we were doing a grand opening in Lake Placid, New
Yeah.
York. We have
Do you have to go down to two questions I want to
Yeah.
bring up on that point? That was
Yeah.
great what you mentioned about Paris
Yeah.
sale or whatever. This is probably a very dumb question, but
No
do
question.
you have to have, other than updated passport, like dual citizenship to a country like that for it to be legal from a sales perspective?
Oh, so well, I'll explain that. It's
Was
not
that a dumb question, or
no,
is that kind of
no, because people
Yeah.
are wondering. No, what we do is refer.
Okay.
So I can pick the phone up, and I can call the office.
So you get like a commission
in
cut,
Paris.
basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And connect with an advisor there who can handle the transaction on the boots on the ground.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up question to that, you mentioned New York City. I should have known it was New York City.
Yeah.
Part of not doing my homework. My apologies. Do you have to go down to Manhattan for like trade shows or just like big meetings every once in a while? Or is that going back to the working from home thing, Zoom? Is that just
I used to go. I used to go all the time for training. To New York City. I had a friend, and I'd stay in her apartment and go to the training. Now everything is Zoom.
Yeah. Where's it based out? Where's it based out of? Lower Manhattan area? Or,
I can't even remember. It is Lower Manhattan.
Lower Manhattan.
I just can't remember the address right now. I haven't been to the new offices.
I'm going to quiz you. Back to that conversation about real estate quiz.
I gotta go check that out.
As comedian Louis Black said one time, just take out your notebooks and pay very close attention, because there'll be a test at some point when I get the energy to write it up. So I'm gonna have a pop quiz eventually.
Okay,
Actually,
good.
This is the pop quiz right here.
I know.
That your coworker just showed you, Caitlin, randomly on the fly.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Shout out to Caitlin.
Shout out to the entire team that works for Gail doing a fabulous job. Yeah. Okay. Rapid fire question time. So you and Bob like to travel?
We do.
When you have a chance.
Yeah. We did the bucket list trip.
Which is?
It was
Are buckets involved?
No buckets. Thank gosh there were no buckets.
Like the old guitar player, he's still alive, Buckethead. Guy that wears a KFC bucket on top of his head. There's a guitar here, by the way. That's what I represent. But okay, bucket list. Sorry.
Yeah, it was the, oh gosh, now you're going to catch me off guard. It was the cruise. It was the, on the longboats in Europe.
Right.
It was the European cruise.
Do you take them from New York City? Because I know that's where a lot of cruises go out of.
We flew to Switzerland.
Nice.
And we did the Netherlands and France and Germany. It was fabulous.
How long ago was this?
2019.
Oh, okay.
I'm so glad we did it just before COVID. We did it.
I was going to say, if this was still part of your downhill skiing career, did you ever ski the Swiss Alps?
No. No.
That's on my bucket list.
Is it?
I would love it to be.
Go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So continue with the bucket list.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is there more to the bucket list, or?
No, we did that. That was our
was this.
biggest trip. Now we stay closer to home.
Yeah. Do you guys ever travel out west to like the Rockies?
Yeah. Well, actually, our honeymoon, we did Route 66. We drove out Route 66.
Yeah. Why am I drawing a blank on where?
Oh my gosh.
Wait a minute.
So now you're showing your age.
Okay. So geography, I should know. Is that the Death Valley Road?
Well,
like the long?
I don't know that it goes through Death Valley.
Yeah.
It covers the whole United States.
Oh.
It goes all the way through. And if you ever watch the cartoon Cars.
No.
No?
Is that a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a car. See, cartoon movies, I get like the two confused. But okay, segue there.
Yeah.
Remember The Land Before Time?
Yeah.
Do you remember how many sequels they had?
No.
13.
No. Okay.
Yes.
This is random knowledge.
I was
Sammy.
born in 1988. No, sorry. I was born in 1989. The first one came out in 1988. And they proceeded to have 13 sequels of the 5 dinosaurs avoiding a T-Rex and finding water and
Sure.
leaf trees, green
I
leaves
do
for food.
sort of remember that.
Then they did a cartoon for 7 months. So that franchise, movies and cartoon.
Yeah.
So the point of my story is, why did I get both of those confused?
I
Sorry.
don't know, but
Sorry.
Cars.
Yeah,
you
but
gotta-
Cars, yes.
Cars
Yeah.
is about the cars that were out on Route 66.
The EVs, the cars?
No,
yeah,
they were not EVs.
no, that's
They were
high
not
tech for
EVs.
that.
No,
yeah.
that was a while ago.
Oh, that's awesome. Anyway, so you did Route 66. That's awesome.
To the Grand Canyon and to the Hoover Dam, and
okay.
did a tour of the Hoover Dam, which was phenomenal.
How is the Grand Canyon? I've never been.
I got
Bucket list.
I got elevation sickness.
Did you? Oh, no.
And I never thought of any of that. I didn't think of that. It's really up there.
Like all of a sudden you just felt
I
like
think it's just ill. Just ill.
headache.
Yeah,
I mean,
the whole
or
thing.
dizziness. Oh,
Yeah, all of it.
God.
So I had to come down a little further.
When I was 11, yeah, 11, we'll say 11. It's the year, in the year 2000. It was year 2000. Remember that saying? Remember that skit or whatever?
Yeah.
The Maid of the Mist, Canadian side of Niagara Falls. I got motion sickness being on that boat.
Really?
And it was something, I didn't throw up, I almost did. But it was something about the falls water being so close to your, to the boat.
You know, I have never done that.
It's pretty fun.
Niagara Falls. Okay.
The American side is great too, but the Canadian side rocks. Highly recommend if you're able to
Okay.
get over there.
Okay.
Toronto's
I do that.
fun also too. Quebec is also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Beautiful up that way.
Yeah.
Not from here in Vermont, not that far of a drive. Went to Quebec junior year of high school, 12 and a half hours on a bus. Now I was only 16, but kill me now.
Yeah.
12 and a half hours on
Yeah.
a bus.
Yeah.
We saw the movie. No, to anybody that likes the movie, I get it. There's fans out there. The Notebook. That was one of the movies that we had.
That doesn't seem like it would be appropriate
Or,
for the
well-
16-year-olds. But
Yeah, well, then we also had the Incredibles 4s, the Incredibles, or whatever they were called.
yeah.
I forget the actress that was in there, but anyways. All right, we're getting off topic. We've never been on topic. Okay. That's the point of the Tasty Twist.
Yeah.
Have you ever done Route I-90 from Boston to Seattle? I think of like cross-country roads.
Yeah.
I think that's the longest
I have
interstate
not.
in the country.
Yeah,
That's the
no.
longest interstate in the country.
Have not. As far as I've been is Ohio and we didn't do I-90.
Right.
We didn't do I-90.
That's kind of a stressful commute between Ohio and Chicago.
Yeah, I bet.
Erica and I did that twice, both on Saturdays on a cross-country trip during COVID, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, and we both landed in Chicago in the same rent-a-car twice on Saturdays.
Interesting.
I needed classical music on an FM radio station in the rent-a-car to get me through the stress of the 4 lanes going each way outside or around Chicago.
No, I don't like highways.
No.
Like that. No.
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 No, that's why I moved up here. I did not like the Merritt Parkway in 91 after a while. But 91, when you get to Northampton, starts changing. Starts feeling like Canada.
Yeah.
Starts a buddy of mine made that joke. Yeah. Well, that's not Montreal or Quebec. I'm talking about most of the inhibited parts of Canada,
Right.
basically.
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, you guys have favorite hobbies that you like to do outside of work?
My favorite is motorcycles, and we've switched from road bikes to on-off road bikes. So we do a lot of.
Like quads or dirt bikes
Well,
and
we
stuff?
have quads on our own land. We have
Right.
150 acres.
Do you really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have trails all through that. So
Right.
we do cross-country skiing, snowmobiling, snowshoeing, and quads.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys live fairly close to your in-laws who are right behind my parents' second home
Yes.
on Branch Brook Road? Are you guys close to your in-laws?
Yeah.
Bob loves building bears, right? Still, or he
Oh,
loves.
I don't know if he's
Bob
carving
Senior
any
loves building.
bears.
Yeah, no.
You know, he's oh my
He's
gosh.
remarkable though. Bob Senior is amazing.
He's remarkable is right.
Yeah.
I would get his age wrong, but I think he's 85. I mean, somewhere in there.
Could pass for 25
I know.
based on
I know.
his youth and his
Yeah.
mind sharpness. You know,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But that's awesome. So, you guys like to cook? Favorite foods?
Oh, well, my husband does most of the cooking. He loves cooking. So I figure if you love it, do it. I if I have
Favorite
the whole
type
day,
of food? Favorite type of food? Like,
I love all food.
yes.
But, you know, so I'm a big
I'm hoping
meat
you say
eater.
Mexican food. I'm hoping
Mexican?
you say yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, all of it. I mean, you know, we go to Little Mexico.
Shout out to Little Mexico,
Mexico,
Mojo's, and Tacos
Mojo,
Tacos.
yeah, all of 'em.
All of our businesses. All
Exactly.
Of them. I love Mojo's.
Yeah.
I love Mojo's.
I know.
John and Jody are great people too. Probably also your neighbors as
They
well
are.
too, right?
They
Yeah.
live down the road from us, and I've known them since they were very young kids.
That's awesome. You guys like going to see live music? Do you have a favorite music genre that you love more than anything?
So it's interesting you asked that question because on the way over here, you know what? I keep this on my Sirius all the time. And we went to a concert last year, I think. Is our favorite is Eric Church.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And his music just made me all mellow.
Now, was he?
Here,
I'm still not 100% familiar. Is he alternative country? Kind of a mix?
He's a mix of country and rock.
Okay.
So a lot of rock. He's doing a lot of covers of like Rolling Stone stuff, and it has a little twang to it, but it's fabulous.
Have you ever seen the Rolling Stones?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
They're
I know
still
a lot of
crushing
my
it,
friends.
early 80s.
I know.
Keith Richards is going to outlive all of us. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
I know.
3 or 4 liver transplants or whatever his
He'll be
case may
fine.
be. He'll be fine. The world is prepared for him and
Yeah.
cockroaches.
Yeah.
Remember that old saying? Yeah. Are you guys big in the sports? Do you like sports?
I'm gonna say you mean like team sports,
Like
no.
like the pros, Major League Baseball, NFL.
We have a rivalry in our house.
Okay.
I used to have season tickets for the Patriots.
Okay.
And I don't anymore.
Pre-Tom Brady and Belichick? We talking
no.
Bledsoe? We talking Bledsoe?
No, we're
before
talking
Brady?
Brady.
Brady.
In
Yep.
the when was that? It would have been in
He
the
took
early
over
2000s.
He took over for Bledsoe. Bledsoe got injured midway, I want to say, through the 2001 season.
Okay, so it was Brady. It was during Brady.
Right. And I believe that was Brady's second year. He sat the first year, I think.
Okay.
I
don't
watch.
know.
To watch.
I've never
I'm
been
going
that
deep-
good at the details.
I'm going deep with the details. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I am not.
My buddy yesterday, Ryan Flanders, on the other episode, he's big in the sports. So this was
Yeah.
the furthest thing from music. We were going like all
Yeah.
deep on sports.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I know Ryan too. I know his
Ryan
dad.
Flanders?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you do?
Of
Okay.
course.
Yeah. Okay. Great kid, by the
yeah,
way.
he
Yeah.
is.
Very talented
He
country
is.
artist leaning
Yeah.
towards. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our rivalry at home is Dolphins. Robert is a Dolphins fan.
Okay.
I am if I'm a fan
say
at all,
Patriots.
I'm a Patriots fan.
Okay.
So we have that rivalry.
I have to ask, if baseball was lumped into the fold,
Yeah.
what are we collaborating with baseball and football for either?
I think we.
Sox?
Yeah, absolutely.
So both Sox?
Absolutely.
Both Sox?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sox Dolphins is not horrible.
Yeah.
And I only say that because I like the Dolphins logo. I like the Patriots logo too. But I digress because I am now, even though we got the better of Brady and Belichick twice, I'm a depressed Giants fan.
Oh, really?
So the reason, I told this yesterday to Ryan, my grandfather is the head honcho for all sports related in the Blanchette, 3 generations of the Blanchette family. Born in 1936 up in Berlin, New Hampshire area.
Okay.
And there was only one football team from 1925 to 1960 in this whole area, and that was the Giants. The Bills, Jets, and Patriots did not come until 1959.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we never switched. He already had Red
Wow,
Sox, Celtics,
sure.
Bruins lined up.
Sure.
So in my household, it's Red Sox, Giants. Erica is Yankees, Patriots.
Oh, Yankees, Patriots. Okay.
I cringed, but you know what? It's not that much of a factor in our relationship. It's all good. It's
Right.
all good.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah. But I wanted to segue. Have you ever thought, you and Bob, of going to see a concert at Fenway Park or any baseball stadium for that matter, like Citi Field in Queens? Concerts at ballparks are a pretty cool thing.
So we did.
Yeah.
We went to AC/DC and the Patriots Stadium.
Did you really at Gillette City? No kidding.
Gillette.
Wow. Were you thunderstruck?
Oh, yeah.
Was Bob
was
Was
amazing.
Bob thunderstruck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his favorite band is AC/DC.
Is it really?
Oh,
Nice.
gosh, yes.
Nice.
Yeah. He has it as his ringtone. Just if you call
Which
him.
song?
No.
No.
Oh, gosh.
That's
Now you're gonna
that's
ask
thunderstruck. For those about to plumb,
Yeah.
we salute you. For those about to sell, we salute you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I am corny, everybody. I'm sorry. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. What else do I have here on the chicken scratch notes? Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, besides all that we talked about, just events and all that other stuff, for your company or yourself, anything significant work-wise on the horizon?
On the horizon.
Did I word that properly?
Well, I'm just trying to think how I would respond to that.
I have a thought. Stare into these lights like I'm doing right now.
No.
Oof, ow, that just hurts.
No.
Maybe the ideas will come.
Anything on the horizon? Well, oh yes. Okay, I have something for you.
Okay.
And it's not new, but it's coming up, which is Elves on Main Street.
And Man and Mountain?
No, Elves on Main Street is our promotion.
Okay, yeah.
That we hide.
Sorry, that's
elves.
the Miracle on Main. Sorry, that's what Main and Mountain does. Shout out to Justin and Eliza, by the way.
Exactly,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, sorry.
Elves on Main Street is we take the little elves that people put for their kids, and hide them, and put them in the stores, retail stores on Main Street.
Oh, okay.
And the whole thing is about getting visitors or even locals, doesn't matter, shoppers into each store, and if they spot the elf, they fill out their name, and then we have a prize at the end. Put all the all the tickets
announced at a later time.
It'll all be right around Christmas. We do it every year. This will be 3 years, 4 years.
What do the prizes range from?
Well, we haven't talked about what it's going to be this year, but last year it was 2 one-day passes to Okemo.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be thankful for that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You could throw in some merch in there also too from the company.
Well, all of the stores can, give a certificate to their store. So
you can take one of my Frisbees or any of my merch going forward. We're approaching Christmas time. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Is it well received so far, the event?
Very. Very. People kind of get into it. They come for the weekend and the kids go running around to all the stores looking for the elves.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
That's great.
Cool.
Anything to get them involved, right? Yeah. It's like kids in a candy store,
Exactly.
Yeah. Get them tired out,
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? Always one I ask to all the musicians and to business people also as well too. Advice to upcoming business workers. In this case, people that want to be real estate agents or get in the markets.
Call me. Okay, so this is about me now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I am, I think, known in certainly in my office anyway for being a mentor to people. I love taking people who are interested in being in real estate and then literally mentoring them so they can be on their own. I have several advisors in my office who knew nothing about real estate.
That's fantastic. Do you go on the road with them all the time?
Sure.
Like travel with them and
whatever it is, whether it's I'll go with you to meet with some clients about a listing, or you come with me on this showing, or you come with me to see what a closing is like. It's constant.
Do you find in the day and age with technology that we live in, business cards and handout flyers for properties are still a great way to draw business to your company? You would say just the listings?
So we've changed a lot. I was a big proponent of a brochure. I come from print. I'm of the generation of print. I used to work for a printing company. To me,
did you?
need to
cool.
see it.
Yeah.
And touch it. And I finally shifted. Everybody's worked on me, and I've shifted a little.
You've changed with the times.
Yeah. So now we create a binder that sits at the house.
Okay.
So we don't waste paper by just handing people flyers that maybe they're not even interested. That's just going to get pitched.
Right.
So it's a book, a nice book, all in plastic sleeves. You can read anything you want to see.
Laminated?
They're in sleeves. Yeah. So that way you can actually take a picture of it on your phone.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I tell people that sometimes at my shows, I have a QR code flyer billboard. And I'm like, hey, if your QR code's not working, just take a picture of it and then plug and play after
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I have shifted.
That's
the
awesome.
big print person has finally.
Who's in charge of social media content for you guys?
That would be Caitlin.
Caitlin, awesome.
That would be
how important is that for your business?
Well, again, they have shifted me I now realize it. Which is why we have Caitlin. She's interesting as well because she came here from our Seattle office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She
Just
was
on
one of those
just on feeling or recruitment? Like, why did she choose Vermont?
She and her significant other. Yeah, you're going to work on that.
Yes,
right,
yes. Yes.
None more of this boyfriend thing.
Yeah,
right?
no, just
Okay.
significant other, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We're adults
Caitlin-
now, right? Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So Caitlin and her significant other moved here. They actually live in Barnard.
Oh, I love Barnard.
Yeah.
Do they live right on Silver Lake?
No, but close.
That's a
I've
beautiful.
never been to her house.
That's a beautiful area, by the way. Silver Lake.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So, anyways.
So they moved here. I was looking for a marketing person, put something on Indeed, which I'd never done before either.
Right.
And
Same with ZipRecruiter, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Like same concept.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I went through a lot of people who wanted to work remotely that weren't anywhere around here. And I'm a very hands-on. I need to have you here. I need to
Right.
see you. I need to talk to you in
Right.
person. And
Right. Or at the very least, like a verbal phone call.
yeah.
Right.
So anyway, then I saw this resume from this woman who worked for Engel Völkers in Seattle.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, she already knows the brand.
That's awesome. Did she crush it out of the park with the interview? Like when you're hiring new people, that's for any company, that's got to be a big thing, right? Is just, and this is, of course, the verbal face-to-face interaction. It's like, okay, you mean business. You sound like you're ready to go. She must have like crushed it out of the ballpark, right?
Oh,
Interview. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
did, and she knew it with me too. It was like it was instant. It was
Yeah.
instant. There was
Yeah.
no questions.
One of the great things that I've taken from working for Okemo or just other businesses outside of being the boss myself is shout out to my one of my current bosses in guest services, Michael Bell on Okemo. He said last year he's so good with managing his team of scanners and greeters and everybody. I go, dude, you communicate well. You're a phenomenal boss and everything. He just goes, hey man, I work for you guys. I think that's a very good philosophy.
Yeah,
Of
it is.
overall, hey, I'm Gail Beardmore. I have this title, but I work for you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. You know, right?
Yeah,
You got to think that's a great way to get people to buy into the system.
Yeah, it is.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah, buy into the system, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Last but not least,
Yeah.
any special shout outs to family members? Who do you want to give a special shout out to for this podcast?
Oh my goodness. Well, I really want to give a special shout out to all of my advisors that work for me, and that would be Caitlin Utes, and it would also be Geraldine Donahue and Mindy Michael and Beth Lee and Uli Donahue. We have two Donahues.
Two Donahues.
In our office, which is kind of unique.
Wow.
So we do have a great team, and we support each other all the time.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then, of course, the Ludlow Dog Park, which, okay, I'm going to say this because I'm not good at this.
Yes,
I
you have
to look
you
it
have
up.
notes, by the way. You haven't really
I
looked
do
at
have
the notes.
but
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want to look up the Ludlow Dog Park, at Ludlow Dog Park VT on Facebook. And if you want to look us up on social media, it's at EV Okemo VT.
Awesome.
So those are my...
How about Instagram,
So-
Facebook, in case the people want to do
Caitlin
that
didn't
too.
give me that. Caitlin didn't give me that.
Yeah. We're going to assume
there.
it has something to do with Engels and Völkers Okemo.
Yeah.
That's
it
at
does.
least where I did my homework on
Is that where you did
yourself
it?
before.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Hey, this was a lot of fun.
It was,
We
thank you.
chatted before recording.
Yeah.
And now for well over an hour looking at the clock.
Wow.
I thank you very much. Anything else you want to
Thank you.
add, or that's?
I don't think so.
I had a really fun time with this interview for the Tasty Twist. So,
Yeah.
Shout out once again, everybody, to Gail Beardmore of Engels and Völkers
Thank
Okemo. Fantastic interview. Once again, thank you, Okemo Valley TV, for all your efforts. This is Sammy Blanchette. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. Don't you worry now, my darling. Woo! Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. You can watch all the episodes of this podcast on Okemo Valley TV's YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. You can visit their website, okemovalley.tv, consider downloading their mobile app, or watch them on live television via VTEL, channel 166 and 167, Comcast 1076 and 1086. Are you interested in supporting a local media station? Please consider becoming a member today. Visit okemovalley.tv for more information.